Do you feel that The Godfather is still a relevant movie to today's audience?
Honestly, I do not think that the movie is at all relevant to today, since it's based in the 30s, and we've come so far as a society that most of the values that were so relevant in those times have just kind of just faded.
I think the Godfather movie is absolutely still relevant in today's society. I think it's a story of greed, of a kind of familial conflict where you have a younger family member who's really just struggling to find his own while at the same time struggling against a family that's trying to maintain a set of traditions and moral system. All the while it's being entirely encompassed by a corrupt moral code. So it's a struggle of a society within a microcosm of a society.
I think that The Godfather is still pretty relevant today for two different aspects. First of all, it's always it's very accurate as of what life was back there, and most people seem to like relate and to want to learn more about that. So that's, I think, one of the main reasons why people still watch it today. The other side of it is that the mafia is actually still pretty alive in some parts of the world, especially in the south of Italy. So being something that it's not really seen around here much, it is relevant in the way that it shows people what it's still like in some other parts of the world. Maybe not quite to the same level of brutality and like so showy as in like things like the dead horse head in the bed probably wouldn't happen today, but the same level of intimidation still exists. And it can probably still relate a little bit to, in some way, gang life and how gangs in major cities are still fighting each other just the same way that families used to back in the days.
I think the movie was so successful because everyone loves a good crime movie. They like the action, they like the suspense, and I personally really enjoyed it.
At the time when Godfather came out, there wasn't really a movie like it. The epic movie of Ben-Hur, of Spartacus. These were movies that were equal in length and revolving one character, but it was just one character. The thing that made Godfather amazing and unique was that it was the story of a bunch of characters, an enormous amount of characters. There wasn't any one hero in that film that you could follow and empathize with. You could empathize with every single person in that film, and it became this massive interwoven web of relationships and deceit, and it was like an entire drama in a tiny little chunk of a 3 hour film that was just insane at the time. So it was unlike anything anyone had ever seen.
So I think that the one scene that kind of shocked me the most was the one where Al Pacino's wife, the first wife, dies in Italy. It was just so sudden and unexpected, but more than anything, I just feel like there was such little actual weight given to her loss that it really stuck with me. You didn't even see her before or after; she just kind of blew up, and it was like a very crude scene, and I think that's why it really stuck with me quite a bit.
I want to say the scene where the Godfather is shot in the marketplace. It was just like you don't really fully expect it. You know something's going to happen, but just the kind of shock that you get from him being mowed down by so many people.
I would say, as far as scenes in Godfather that really just shocked people, I think it was the horse head. The horse head in the bed. Violence up until this point had been kind of almost prosaic. It had been get into a fist fight, let's shoot at each other, let's have campy kind of, it's almost like a farce, like a comic book. That's what movies had been up until this point. The horse head kind of brings this macabre to the movie where it's like, this is actually happening. This horse in the bed is something that's so sadistic. Like he had to go and kill a horse, a friendly animal, just to make a point. That's what I liked about the scene. It was something that you had to go out of your way to get that kind of feeling. And in today's movie society, people are so desensitized that a horse head would almost do nothing for the average person other than maybe a child. It might shock a child. But for audiences back in the day who are not used to that level of brutality, something as simple as just putting an animal head in a bed just shocks everyone, and it really gets its point across.